A hatch snaps open on the deck of an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, somewhere in the Mediterranean. A pillar of white-hot flame erupts, and a 3,000-pound cylinder of steel screams into the sky. It looks like a rocket, for about 3 seconds. Then, the solid fuel booster drops off, a pair of stubby wings pop out from the fuselage, and a small Williams F-107 turbofan engine kicks to life. Now, it's not a rocket anymore, it's a small, angry, unmanned airplane. While the sailors on deck are still shielding their eyes from the glare, that BGM-109 Tomahawk is already settling into its cruise. It has a 90-minute flight ahead of it. Its destination? A specific office window, on a specific floor of a building in Syria, over 1,000 miles away. Think about that. You could watch a full-length movie in the time it takes this thing to travel from the middle of the ocean to a guy's desk in another country. The Tomahawk is why the US Navy can dismantle a nation's infrastructure without ever leaving the safety of the open sea. It's been fired in anger more than 2,300 times since the 90s. And if you want to understand how the US actually fights wars, you have to understand this missile. Every destroyer you see on the news has these grid-like hatches on the deck. That's the Mark 41 Vertical Launch System, or VLS. On a standard Burke-class, you've got 96 of these cells. They're modular, meaning they can carry anything from SM-6 interceptors to anti-submarine rockets. But the Tomahawk? It's the heavy hitter. The beauty of VLS isn't just that it holds a lot of hardware, it's the speed. In the old days, you had to point a launcher at the target. Now, you just fire straight up. The missile clears the ship, pitches over, and finds its own way. A single destroyer can ripple fire its entire forward magazine, 32 missiles, in under 2 minutes. During the opening hours of the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the Navy was breathing fire. They were launching a Tomahawk every 3.5 minutes, around the clock. But getting it off the ship is the easy part. The real magic? It's how it doesn't get lost. See, the Tomahawk doesn't fly high. It's a terrain hugger. It stays low, sometimes just 50 feet off the deck, to stay under enemy radar. At 550 miles per hour, that's a lot of opportunities to hit a hill or a power line. To keep it on track, the missile uses a triple-threat navigation suite. First, there's the Inertial Navigation System, or INS. It uses gyroscopes to track movement. It's okay, but over 1,000 miles it gets sloppy. It starts to drift. So, it checks in with GPS. We all know how that works. Satellite updates keep the drift in check. But here's the catch: GPS is easy to jam. If you're fighting a real adversary like Russia or China, your GPS signal is going to be flickering like a bad radio station. That's where TERCOM comes in, terrain counter-matching. The missile carries a radar altimeter and a digital map of the ground it's supposed to fly over. As it screams across the desert, or through a mountain pass, it reads the ground below it. It compares the hills and valleys it sees to the map in its brain. It's looking for landmarks. You can't jam a mountain. You can't spoof a ridgeline. This tech started in the 70s, and honestly, it's still the most reliable way to navigate a war zone. For the grand finale, it uses DSMAC, Digital Scene Matching Area Correlation. Basically, a camera in the nose takes a picture of the target area and compares it to a stored photo. If the two pictures don't match, the missile adjusts, until they do. The latest Block 5 version is so accurate, it has a circular error probable of about 5 meters. After a 90-minute flight across 1,000 miles of ocean and dirt, it'll hit within 15 feet of the bullseye. Every single time. If you think that's scary coming from a destroyer, wait until you talk about the submarines. A ship is a giant piece of steel reflecting radar in the middle of the ocean. You know it's there. But an Ohio-class SSGN? That's a ghost. The Navy took 4 of their old boomers, ballistic missile subs, and turned them into conventional strike monsters. Each one of these boats carries 154 Tomahawks. One submarine carries more cruise missiles than most entire navies. They park off a coastline, completely invisible, and start a fire. The missiles launch from vertical tubes, encased in a protective capsule. The capsule hits the surface, the cap blows off, and the booster ignites. From the beach, it looks like missiles are just materializing out of the water. In 2011, during Operation Odyssey Dawn, the USS Florida, one of those Ohio SSGNs, launched over 100 Tomahawks in a single night. One boat basically deleted Libya's entire integrated air defense system before the sun came up. But the Tomahawk isn't just a building killer anymore. For 30 years, it could only hit stationary targets. If you moved the truck or the ship, the Tomahawk would hit the empty spot where it used to be. The new Block 5 changed that. Specifically, the Block 5A, also known as the Maritime Strike Tomahawk. It has a new seeker head that can track and home in on a moving ship at sea. This is a massive shift in how the Navy thinks about the Pacific. Now, a destroyer can sit 1,000 miles away, well outside the range of anything the enemy can throw back, and sink a carrier. The enemy won't even know they're being targeted until the missile is 5 miles out and popping its seeker on. The mission planning for this is a nightmare, by the way. It's not just point and click. You've got to map out waypoints, check the terrain, and account for every obstacle. It used to take days to program a flight path. Now, the Navy can do it in minutes. And with the new data links, you can actually talk to the missile while it's in flight. If a higher priority target pops up, or the ship moves, you can tell the Tomahawk, "Hey, change of plans? Hit that ship instead." The Navy has about 4,000 of these in the inventory. They're building more. And they're starting to put them on unmanned ghost ships, robotic vessels that can carry a magazine of missiles into the line of fire, so we don't have to risk a crewed destroyer. The Tomahawk has been around since 1983. In the tech world, that's ancient. But it doesn't matter. The concept is so solid, and the upgrades are so constant, that it remains the gold standard for long-range violence. It's 90 minutes of dread for anyone on the receiving end. If you want to see what happens when we stop being slow and steady and start moving at Mach 5, you need to see the Navy's new hypersonic strike weapon. It can sink anything on the water before the crew even hears it coming. Check that out right here.